Hi everybody, this is Janelle of the Fashion Lotus, and I'm really happy to announce that I am getting married. Woo-hoo. And I'm really excited on the whole wedding planning process. One of the best parts has been creating my own wedding invitations, and I wanted to teach a little DIY, step-by-step instructions on how you can create really easy, really inexpensive, and beautiful wedding invitations. So let's show you how I did it. So here's what you'll need. You're going to use cardstock, scissors, glue pen, glass, metal, and more glue, or you can also use hot glue gun, pair of tweezers if you have any, burlap, and this burlap is a roll that I got at Michael's. It has the edges sewn so that way it doesn't become undone. So we're going to use that. We've got ribbon. This ribbon is in a turquoise color, so it complements the orange color that I chose. And your props. This prop I chose is the starfish, so we're going to be using this side because it's got two sides. So this is the back side of the starfish, and we're going to make sure that our starfish is going to be facing up. And these are your materials for your do-it-yourself wedding invitations. So the first thing I want to work on is the sleeve that goes on the invitation. So I'm going to use this burlap material and using the edges as the marker for my edges of the actual invitation or the card, I'm going to cut it at about 1.5 inches high. And it doesn't matter if I'm along the lines or not, although in this case it's turning out to be that way. It doesn't matter if it doesn't have, if it has imperfections, because that is part of the DIY portion of my invitation, of course. So at about 1.5 inches worth of the burlap in strips, and I got some of them already pre-cut. So now I would like to use, I got this ribbon. This is really pretty ribbon. It's a turquoise, like I mentioned earlier. I got it at Michael's as well. And I have already pre-cut my ribbon, and it's got some glue on it already, but it's good because it has the markers for where I want to put the glue on for the burlap as well. So I'm just going to center it over my burlap material. And using my glass, metal, and more glue, I'm going to bond it to the burlap. So all you have to do is really make two. You gotta be a little careful because it's a bit messy. And I'm using this paper on the table so that it won't damage my table, but you can use newspaper as well. So all I'm gonna do is put the glue, just a little dot, you don't really need much, on the ribbon, or you can put it on the burlap, however you choose to glue it. And try to center it as much as possible. It doesn't have to be 100% straight, but as much as you possibly can. Alright, so the next thing you're going to do is actually glue the starfish to the ribbon. So using the same glue, just a dot on the back of your starfish. Just a little dot. Sorry about the fancy hands there. Just had to get a little bit of strings of glue off my hand. And you're going to glue it between just a little bit on the burlap and a bit on the ribbon also. And just press it for a couple of seconds. And this is going to take about 24 hours to completely dry. So I'm just going to set that aside. And we're not going to put it together until we finish the rest of the invitation. Now this glue is very strong, so you're going to want to be careful not to leave it open because it is, the smell is really, the odor is very strong, and you don't want to get all intoxicated, so make sure to work in an open or fanned space. So now we're going to work on the invitation itself. So I've pre-cut my cardstock in order to make the different layers of my invitation. So what I did is that I took this cardstock. It is 4.5 by 6 inches, and I went to Office Max, and they printed it out for me in the lettering and the colors that I chose using Microsoft Publisher. And I asked them to do about 2.5 inches lower than the margin. That way I'd be able to easily put the sleeve on top and not interrupt or go over any of the lettering. So this is a 4.5 by 6.5. So what I did is that I cut my cardstock, and I want to do a layering effect. So I'm going to set this to the side real quick, and I'm going to do a layering effect. So what I did is that I took the largest size that I'm going to use based off of the envelope. So now this envelope, as you can see, fits the cardstock that I cut perfectly for this envelope. I used a paper cutter. Scissors leaves bad margins, and as you can see, this is an example of that. I did it just as an example, but the rest of them, the ones that are actually going to go out to my guests, I did it in a paper cutter. But Office Max also provides that service, and it's a very low cost. So based off the largest layer of my card, then I cut the second layer so that it could fit with just a centimeter or two of space showing, and then of course the smallest layer would be the worded part of the invitation. So what I'm going to do to layer them on top of each other is use this glue pen that I found from Elmer's. It's really good because it doesn't show any marks or lines, and it's really, really good glue. So what I do is that I actually use the middle card first. So what I'm going to do is draw a line and kind of outline the inner part of this cardstock portion, and I'm going to do it at about 1/2 inch inside. You don't want the glue to squish out once you put the cards on top of each other. So, sorry. So I'm going to kind of outline the inner part, and then I like to draw an X in the center. That way it completely glues to the first layer. So you try very, very hard to keep it aligned and centered. The top part of the card, you can leave a smaller line and just push with your thumb outward and around the edges. And if it kind of moves or shifts a little bit, it's still wet enough that you can move it around. Then I'll do the same thing with the written portion of my invitation. So, and it's got on both sides. Yeah, I got this one printed as a tester, so it's okay. So same thing, I'm going to just draw along the edges, not too close to the edge, and oopsie, mark an X in the center. So the last part would of course be trying to keep it as centered as possible, leaving a margin showing from the layer it's on. So now you hold it, press, and same movement, drawing outwards and along the edge. And there you go. That makes for a really sturdy card. Very, very sturdy. So while this dries, of course, it's going to take a longer time for it to completely dry, but I'll still show you the process of how I got the card and the sleeve together. So what I do is I just turn around the card portion and lay down the sleeve. I'll keep it a little centered here. And put my card on top of my sleeve. Now I'm just going to get these two sides together as tight as possible without bending the card. So you kind of mark where this one ends. And you don't want to do too close to the edge either, because then it will slip away. Oops, see? just a dot is all you need. And here's when I use my tweezer. You could use it also with the prop, to put the prop on the burlap. I just don't want to get my hands all glued. And the little bit of glue that I put on the actual card is enough to hold both of them, because this particular ribbon is mesh. So now we've secured the card, the burlap to the card. If you want it to be even tighter or more secure, you can also stick the actual burlap onto the card. And that is your beautiful wedding invitation, beach theme wedding invitation. For the RSVP cards, what I did was I got these tags at Michael's as well. They're made out of recycled material, and put this here to the side. And I got these labels printed with the wording of my RSVP. These labels are easy peel, clear 2x4 labels. This is basically what fit on my tag. So I got printed at Office Max as well, and it only cost like $10 to get the entire thing printed, including my my cardstock, the small one for the invitation, and these labels as well. So all you do is peel the label off, try to center it as much as you possibly can onto your tag, and using the same ribbon that you used for the wedding invitation, just loop it around. And I actually even glued it so that the knotted portion of your label is not sticking out. So, and this is basically it. Very easy, very beautiful, and very inexpensive wedding invitations. So make sure to like this video. If you have any questions or comments, just go ahead and write your comments down below. And if you want the step-by-step instructions, just go to www.thefashionlotus.com. I've laid out all of the instructions on how to do your very own tropical wedding invitations. And make sure to subscribe to The Fashion Lotus. Thank you so much for watching.